How we doing, folks? Appreciate you guys coming through. What's the saying? Do as we say, not as we do. Yeah. So it's always said to never pull unless you're on a two-time event. I don't think this was the two-time anybody was talking about, but it's kind of hard for me to pass this up. I'm pretty sure I'm very close to the mercy. However, even if I'm not, because it's really hard to keep track of these situations unless you're writing it down. It's kind of hard to pass these up for myself. Although I never recommend anybody pulling unless it's a two-time um, two-time chance event rather than the double extra legendary pulling event. But we're going to give it a shot because if by chance you do pull a legendary, getting an extra legendary on top of that, those numbers are well above the percentages on pulling two legendaries within that amount of sacred shards. Unless you're wailing out, unless you're a big giant baller, then be that as it may, you're a baller, and it is what it is at that point. So welcome. I appreciate you guys coming through, checking out the video, and again, never recommend doing this on a non-two times event, but hey, the last video we said the same exact thing, and I proved my point that you should never do it because we pulled a lot of shards and we did not see any beautiful colors. Hopefully this recording goes perfectly fine, but going through some horrible weather right now. Internet is going in and out. It may get a little bit laggy and a little bit slow, but we've had a few tornadoes already, and the power's going in and out. So we're going to get this started. Number one, it'd be great if we can get this on the first shard, and it's not going to happen. The earlier it happens, the quicker we can stop, because we do have an important event coming, and we will conserve as much as we can. The art on Catacomb Counselor is pretty sweet. We'll check out these abilities here. 50% chance of placing 25% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, then attacks 1 enemy. Not the best A1. We got to attack 1 enemy 3 times, heals this champion by 20% of the damage inflicted. Not too bad for a Fire Knight. With a 3-time hit on the A2. It is fully booked 4-turn cooldown, or 3-turn cooldown with full books, but not the best. Ascended teams up with 3 random allies to attack a single enemy. The allies joining the attack will use their default skills. It is on a 4-turn cooldown. When booked, only takes 1 book to fully book it out. So again, good Fire Knight champion here. It is an attack-based champion. Not too bad on the stats. Again, this is a level 1 4-star without being ascended. So, this is an okay champion, especially for Fire Knight. So, Undead Horde, definitely put this guy to work in your faction crypts for sure. Not looking too shabby. So let's get on to the next one, man. We gotta be close. We gotta be close. I would love to conserve. Come on, player, do me good. No, it's not the color we're looking for. And Claude here, not too shabby. Not too shabby of an Ogren. Attacks 1 enemy, has 30% chance of placing 30% decreased crit rate. So a debuff here on HP based champion on the A1. It's a 2-turn debuff. It's an okay. I wish it was an AoE instead of a single enemy hit. Would be a lot better there. But then he'd be an arena type of champion. Not really set up for that. Then we got place shield buff on all allies. 20% of this champion's max HP, which is a really, really good skill because he can really get up there on HP if you build him right. A3 places a 30% increased speed buff and 50% increased accuracy on all allies for 3 turns. Or I'm sorry, for 2 turns. And you can throw a couple books at him and get that to a 3-turn cooldown. And his passive heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of their max HP at the start of this champion's turn. Of course, ascended to level 3. Not too bad, but not the greatest either. All right, player, come on, come through. Go! There we go! There we go! There we go. We love to see it. And the extra legendary. Come on. All right. This is a dupe of Michal. I've already got Michal. We love to see the duplicates now. I love my Michal. I play him in almost everything. I like putting him in my Fire Knight team. I'm pushing him right now in just about everything I've got going. But Iron Brago. I do not have Iron Brago. This is just an epic pull here. So let's check out Iron Brago. A1 attacks one enemy, has 20% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. He is a defense-based champion, so all damage is based upon defense. Places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 3 turns, then attacks the enemy. Has 75% chance of placing a stun for 1 turn. Has 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 2 turns instead if the target is under 2 or more buffs. Booked, that is on a 3-turn cooldown. Quite a few books, at 6 books to max that out and get that to a 3-turn cooldown. He is a little low on the attack, but considering he is a defense-based champion, you could have figured that much. A3 here attacks all enemies, so we got 2. Okay, so attacks one enemy. Okay, so the AoE on the A3 only. Attacks all enemies, have 50% chance of placing a provoke for 1 turn. Also places a 50% decreased attack on all enemies for 2 turns. If Iron Brago is under increased defense buff, damage is based upon defense. And then again, 6 more books, and we can get that to a 3-turn cooldown. His passive at Ascension 3, increased defense on all allies by 10% of this champion's defense. So 10% of his max defense once you get that passive going, which can just be outrageous. It can be absolutely outrageous. Wonderful, wonderful champion. Let's check out these reviews. I mean, other than Fire Knight, because he doesn't have a lot of hits, why put him in there? Magic Keep. I mean, again, there's no point in putting him in the Magic Keep really for anything, or any of the keeps really. But everything else, Spider Den's a little bit low. I probably wouldn't run him there either. But everything else is just jumping out the roof. So extremely happy. I'm able to conserve a couple shards here. And then we got Duke Michal. I'm definitely going to throw him in and level up my existing Michal. His A1 attacks the enemy. I'm actually going to go in a different route. I'm going to go the route that you use when you use him in a fight. So you always lead off with his A2. So his A2, once you're ascended, he places a 30% increased speed and 30% increased critical damage on all allies, including himself. And then places True Fear and Leech debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Then grants himself an extra turn. And then you have the choice of going to your A1 or your A3. You can go A3, which is attack 1 enemy and has an 80% chance of stealing all buffs from the target before attacking. And then you can place an 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. And also places 2 15% continuous heal debuffs on this champion for 3 turns. Damage increases by 15% against targets that have no buffs. So depending on how you want to play and who you're playing against, whether you're going against, you didn't get the first play, or you're going against, someone in the arena that already has, shield, blocks, any kind of buffs that are automatically applied, based upon their skills or what have you. You can hit the A2, grant yourself an extra turn, and then come through and strip those buffs, then hit them with 100% heal reduction, place yourself to 15% continuous heals, and then smack them a good one. Or you can hit someone that is high health and is going to be high health, and super increase that damage by 50% against those targets. Again, you hit yourself with the 30% increased critical damage already, so hitting them with an extra 50% increased attack is kind of crazy. Or you can hit yourself with this, grant yourself an extra turn, and then you can come with A1, which is attacks 1 enemy, heals this champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. You will then attack all enemies which applied the leech debuffs from your A2 that you started with, because when you ascend it, you place True Fear and Leech debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. This is, of course, depicting on your accuracy and the enemy's resist skills, and anybody that's applied with something that resists all leeches or so on and so forth. So as long as you apply a leech to, let's say, the whole team that you're fighting against, you can apply leech here to everybody. And if you want to hit the whole team, you're basically turning your A1 into an AoE instead of a single hitter. So depending on your situation, you can go any route, but you typically will always start off with your A2 and turn around and come back with this. Your leech is already for 2 turns, so there's no wrong way going with it. You can always go here, then here, and because you have this for 2 turns, you start with this, you hit this one. Anybody that you didn't knock out with this one still has the leech for 1 more turn, and you're hitting everybody else that's still alive with this one on your next turn around. Then, if you booked this with 1 book, it's coming back with that 3-turn cooldown, and it's ready to go again. And then, of course, you have your True Fear going. Anybody that doesn't have enough resist is still unable to go, and you can just keep going and going and going and going and going, and nobody gets a turn. Just an amazing champion, and you can just really lock down anybody that you go against if built right. Just a fantastic champion. Got to get that crit rate completely up to 100%, max your critical damage, get your accuracy up pretty good. And I mean, you can almost, if you get those up good enough, you can almost ignore defense. If you're staying in the arena, I mean, as long as you get your speed up and you know you're going first, you can almost ignore defense. You can almost ignore health. You may lose a couple battles, but if you're focusing on everything else, you're betting on going first as long as you get your speed up. Ignore the rest of the stuff. Focus on what you want to focus on, going first, and just knocking them out the park. You're Gucci. You are Gucci. I'm not there yet on mine, but we'll see if the internet's up good enough. What I look for, and again, I'm not a whale by any means, and my speed is not up to par. We'll go into a fight and see if I can prove myself wrong. See if I can make myself look a fool here against a rough team. That one's rough because every time you hit her, it speeds up the team. But even something like this, it's kind of rough, but I push it. 253 is, I'm not there. I mean, you'll see when I hit the squad. I'm not there. I'm 157. 157. Going against this dude, I mean, the health is way up there. The speed on this is really low. Martyr's got great defense, but the speed is low. So I'm really close to almost guaranteeing myself to go first. The speed is not there. Everybody loves Syl. But we'll go in here as long as the internet stays with me here. And it's going to be a little slow and a little laggy. Not sure if you guys can actually hear the wing beating. I guess I'll be able to tell before this goes. And I just got it on auto. It went with the 100% heal reduction, the extra 50% attack on the first hit. We got all those leeches placed up, okay? So it got those extra hits on the next go around. Again, they're going to actually get a turn here. Their resist was up pretty good. And I'm so confident in it. I just let it go auto, and I'm not really worried about it in most instances. But he was the first one knocked out, and the health is just maximized. His health is just ridiculous. Let's see if I can get something team powers a little bit higher. Oh man, that's super rough, but going against another Michal, 91, I mean, I'm only in the 60s. This is another rough one. Ursula is not the best thing to go against, but I love going against him in the lead without the speed lead. But again, I may prove myself wrong a couple of times here, but 202 against 157. Not having that speed lead, I get a lot more confident. I will lose a couple battles here and there, and I'm okay with that. Playing with the numbers and such, and taking on auto. She does her work, strip those buffs, and again, he can do some buff stripping too, with that A3. So not really worried about it if she's not in there. So but he puts in some work. I've got some other killers up in here. You're not going to have an arena team with a single player, you know what I'm saying? I should have kept that up there so you guys could see the stats, but I'm really confident when I've got Michal in there. Again, my speed's not all that in a bag of chips. Let's go. I'll show you guys the stats that I have. And again, I'm not a gear guru here, folks. I try to do the best that I can with what I have available. Still working on some things. Still trying to maximize what I can. But you know, we're sitting at 206 speed. We're sitting at 130 accuracy. I play around a little with the resist, but I'm not really worried about it because I'm not really worried about the second turn. Again, we saw, you know, a couple teams did get a turn there. If I get hit that second time, I'm relying on the rest of my support to come help me out. Critical damage is only at 133. Again, if I get in a lot of trouble, I rely on that A3 to give me an extra 50% on attack, because that's why we're up above 4K. 34K is kind of decent for HP. That's when we're getting into trouble, and that's for other areas of the game outside of Arena. Defense is only sitting at 2K, again, to kind of help me, not necessarily inside the arena, but to make sure that he's a little bit survivable in other aspects of the game, but still in the arena is okay. 206 is really nothing to write home about. If you look at other content creators and everything else, you know, 260s, 280s, everybody screams. Again, I'm not all that, or a bag of chips, or even the bag of chips without the all that included. But this will get it done, folks, with Michal because of his abilities specifically. Just beating it up. And I mean, you can just take him almost anywhere in the game, and he will put in some work for you. Let's check him out in Fire Knight 20. Not going to try and make this a big long video, but just so happens I pulled a Duke Michal, and it's time to show him off. Do a little bit of showcase. Of course, we've definitely got some other support in here, you know, showing some ninja love. You know, it is what it is, but you will see how the effectiveness. I gotta show some focus over here, some punk, and luckily the True Fear got activated because he can really become a pain when he doesn't get frozen, with Fire Knight specifically. So that stress relief is hopefully not too bad. Normally we don't only get 2 frozen in that first swipe by Ninja. Probably need to get his accuracy up a tad bit more. But yeah, I mean, Michal, I'm really trying to finish out my campaign. I am so close. I am so close to completing my campaign, and you know, Michal has really been a turning point in Nightmare. I did not think that of all the luck that I've had legendary wise, gosh dang, show some focus here. Last second, with Ninja's A1, right before Ninja's A1 went off, did I get that focused hit in? That was close. Yeah, I mean, I did not think that Michal specifically, because I mean, he's really known for the arena as far as I've been able to see out there, and he's really usable everywhere, and I don't know why, you know, no one would take him and use him everywhere else. Wow, no freeze love with these freaky little beasts here. but they will light on fire. Get him, Ninja. Take care of your business. So there you go. You got that leech that turns into an AoE basically for the A1. It's just magical as long as that resistance is not too high. With my relatively low accuracy, my Doom Tower stats are kind of low, sadly. And let's not forget about the speed for all allies. I mean, we're really, because he grants that extra turn to himself, I mean, it almost takes away, and it's 30% speed boost. It almost takes away the need to have a speed booster on your team. I mean, don't trip now. Having a speed lead is fantastic. So I'm not saying don't ever have a speed lead again. Just throw Michal in there. But look, that grants an extra turn, automatically recycles as long as you have that booked and turn it to a 3-turn cooldown. And I know legendary books are hard to come by these days. But getting that book to a 3-turn cooldown is automatically applying that speed boost to all allies, including himself, as soon as that 2-turn speed wears off. I mean, look, the speed just wore off on Michal, and everybody else, as soon as the turn came around, 261, it should be higher than that. I must have just been a rando. And then here again, as soon as it ran off, Michal reactivated it for 2 turns. And there it goes. It just wore off for everybody, reactivated for 2 turns. I mean, it's just like he is the champion of all champions. I mean, 30% increased critical damage, the same time as he's increasing 30% increased speed for all allies. Even though he's the way I set him up, he's kind of suspect on his health. So when he does 263, it's getting a little bit better. Should stay around the 300s, maybe because he's getting a little bit low on his health. He's a little suspect on his health the way that I set him up, but again, he's applying, when he hits that with that A3, he's applying those continuous heals on himself. So, and that's 3 turns with those 2 continuous heals. So, I mean, he's there. I mean, and look, compared to Coldheart, guys, he's right there. He's right there. I mean, that's just crazy. That is crazy. And again, his defense, I really don't set. I mean, he only had 2k defense. You really got to build Coldheart up just because. I mean, look at that blue border. You gotta protect your girl. And the health. Bad L is throwing health everywhere, but he's applying those continuous heals to himself. Bad L, he's throwing poisons everywhere all day long. So, out of the whole squad, I mean, look, he did more damage than Ninja. Michal did more damage than Ninja. And let's look at my Ninja setup. Again, it's not going to be all that in a bag of chips. It's not going to be all that to write home about. He was at 4K. Michal was at 4K attack. But don't forget that Ninja has that increasing aura skill every time his cycle goes around. That passive is amazing. especially with bosses, will increase his attack by 20%, all the way up to 100%, and critical damage up to 10%, up to 25% instead. So on top of what Michal was putting, that 30% of Michal's increased critical damage, on top of what Ninja was already put on top of himself, and he outdid him. I mean, that's just wicked. That is wicked. So shout out to Michal for coming through. I won't do his +1 while we're on cam here because we're already at 30 minutes. So I'm not going to put you guys through even more punishment of video here. While we're talking, if you guys pay attention to the card that I'm going to post, hopefully I'm pointing the right way, this way. Pay attention to that card that pops up here. I do a little thing where I do giveaways. I'm getting into doing more videos for Raid Shadow Legends. I'm more known for doing NBA 2K content. Kind of trying to get more into Raid because I'm spending more time doing Raid. But do giveaways quite a bit. So I do what's called an Easter egg giveaway from my YouTube uploads every once in a while. So in those Easter eggs, I put cards up and it'll say Easter egg on it. You click on it and it'll have a code word. That code word you will want to send to me via my Twitter, or some kind of method where you can contact me, and the first person that contacts me win a little something, cash, gift card, something to that effect. So if you're getting this and it's it's December 15th, I will upload this tonight. If it's December 16th, you're probably a little too late. And I will put a video at the end for you to check out. It gives pretty good instructions on how to access it, things that kind of happen, so that you can prepare for future videos and future giveaways, things like that. I like to do that to give folks a heads up on how things go and how I do my giveaways and things like that. So check those out, and man, we hope to see you again. Please hit that like, smash that sub if you like the content, and man, wish me some good luck for this event, man. We need to get these champions fused, man. Pretty excited for tomorrow, and we shall see what happens. Good luck. Keep raiding. Peace.